mean, I'll say this. I've seen almost every movie that's opened in theaters, and they've been mostly meh to okay, good to bad, and mostly bad. I have not seen a movie that would even make my top 50 list this year so far. It is bleak for movies, but the indie film world is hopping. The indie film world is hopping with great choices, and that's part of our job is to tell you about them. There is a movie that's coming out. This is an early review of a movie called The Fetus by first-time feature director Joe Lamb. This movie stars actually from Terrifier, Lauren Lavera. Bill Moseley is the movie. Lauren is Alyssa. She has this boyfriend who's actually kind of lame, to be honest. He's kind of flaky with her. His name is Chris. And Chris is a little flaky. They are having sex. And guess what? She gets pregnant. And she is in fear. Why? Because her father told you should never get pregnant. And if you do, you need to come see me. Bill Moseley plays Maddox, her father, who lives in a cabin in the woods. And Chris and Alyssa go out to the cabin to talk to her dad about her pregnancy. She goes to the doctor, and weird things begin to happen. I don't even know how to tell you this, so I'll just say it out loud. It's a killer fetus that reaches from the nether regions of Alyssa to kill its victims. I'm not making this up, okay? This is an over-the-top, crazy in terms of ideas. Every 10 minutes, the stakes raise. And it reminds me of an old school horror from the 80s and 90s inspired by Frank Henenlotter. If you've ever seen things like Basket Case, this is like Basket Case. So this fetus that's growing inside of Alyssa is murdering people to consume. And they have to. Now, I will say this. A movie of this name is immediately probably going to turn some people off. But it doesn't make, I'll say, you could have with this movie made some kind of social commentary about maybe abortion, about pro-life or abortion rights. The movie does none of that. It doesn't come down on any political agenda. There's not a line that's about, it is simply about a pregnant woman who has a monster in her body, and she goes to her dad for advice because her father has a history with this problem. I'll just say that. I don't want to give too much away. Great performances by Lauren Lavera. Bill Moseley, solid. He's so great in everything. I love Bill Moseley. Big fan of him. Julian Curtis, who plays Chris, is very good. This is old school horror. It's not modern horror. It's not Blumhouse. It's not trying to be quippy or funny, but some of the circumstances are very funny because of this killer fetus in the body of this woman. Don't be turned off by the title. It is weird in the best ways. It's like, if you like the movie Basket Case by Frank Henenlotter, you will love The Fetus. Great review from me. 8 out of 10 for me. We are going to have Joe Lamb on the show next Wednesday. He is coming on the show. We will interview him. We'll look at the trailer for The Fetus. I loved it. Alan, I think you would love it.
All right. So this goes on your top 50 of the year.
Yes, so far. It might drop. I don't know. But in terms of horror movies, this is in my top favorite horror movies of this year, simply because the tone of it is like a classic horror film. Also, it's not, there's no obvious CGI. It's practical effects. It's just weird. It swings for the fences and hits the ball. It's fun. It's a short horror film, as good horror films are, tight, and leaves it. I want to see a sequel. This could be the Fetus franchise, and Lauren Lavera from the Terrifier films is awesome. So I really enjoyed it. Had a good time with this. There's an interview on our for members only. I filmed the Q&A with the director and cast, but the director will be here next week. The movie is coming to theaters and VOD next week, I believe.
Next Friday.
So look for it. Put it on your radar. Limited release, but I really felt it was important to cover this movie because I like this kind of indie. I will say this. This is on my list for award this for sure. For horror. I mean, it was so well done. And this is Joe Lamb's first feature.